As part of Future You, I want you to think about your time. So first off, scheduling our live sessions and adding the dates to your calendar, prioritizing your questions, prioritizing your growth, prioritizing your time to tap into the growth community. What we know is that the people that tap in more, they get way more out of the experience, way more integration. And so just even right now, you might just press pause and make sure that you've got the live sessions on your calendar. And write in, write in your calendar link. Maybe I'll just show you through an example. If I click on something I'm going to do, I can edit it, and I can just put my question or my notes right here in the description. And this will help me. This will really help me just show up ready on time for the live session. So again, for our Club Thrive sessions, prioritize those, and also prioritize the dynamic club sessions so you can interact with other members. We also know this is a massive success metric in Club Thrive, is showing up and being present and ready to play, ready to lean in, being all in, ready to listen, ready to participate, and even ready to co-lead with the mastermind group that is Club Heal. All right, another way to schedule your Thrive is just plan your day the night before. This is a super simple tactic and mentally rehearse your day. So write down what you're going to do the next day, whether you put that in a Google Calendar or whether you just write your list of things that you're going to do the night before, and then mentally rehearse. See yourself, walk your mind through the actions of doing that. And that will honestly set you so much more up for success. You don't want to walk into a morning blind to what it is that you really want to get done that day. All right, so time blocking on focus blocks, buffer blocks, free time, and chunking your work and play. I have a 20-minute video here, this video training on time blocking. So if you don't know what those things are, I want you to watch this training and to do it. I don't want to repeat the whole training right here because it's quite thorough and it's a great review. So the whole idea behind time blocking is that the more you have, and I've done this for years, and it's a mind saver. The more you theme your days, the more you know, like each Monday's somewhat like this, each Tuesday's somewhat like that, each Wednesday's somewhat like the other thing, and the more consistent that is week over week, and that you chunk your time into times to focus and times to do buffer activities, that's like email or communications or setting up projects or doing project management work. And the more you actually have blocked out free time and you can chunk your work and your play, what'll happen is you'll find a whole other higher order, a whole other level of flow and integrity. And some of the stuff we talked about in the depth path in terms of the divine feminine and wormholing and time, this happens through time blocking, through creating structure. Structure begets evolution. Structure precedes evolution. Anderson and Adams. So true, so super helpful to get. All right, another aspect of time that happens in Club Thrive is that you're with your bigger and brighter future, with your goals, with your depth path, with your growth path, is it will force function less important things in your life. So it's really normal around here to find that like what you were doing before, how you were spending time before isn't how you'll be spending time in the future, literally by definition. Because if you're going to hit a bigger goal, you're going to use time in a more involved way. Many of you are familiar with the 80-20 rule. The idea behind 80-20, Pareto's principle, is that 20% of your time should go to 80% of the results so that you can start to hack out the stuff that's less effective that you might currently be doing. I found this so much through intermittent fasting of like, what if like 20% of my time in the kitchen rendered 80% of my nourishment? And what I found was that like, wow, that totally works and frees up so much time. And then can I apply that to also like stocking groceries? Can I apply that to Christmas shopping? It's the time of year right now. What else can I apply that to? You're going to want to look at, for those of you who have jobs and are working, your existing income streams and your free time. You're going to want to look at like, what are the 20% of the things that I do that drive 80% of the results? This is something that we'll talk more about in your experience in Club Thrive, this idea of 80-20, this idea of really force function of looking at what's really most important Can you put that first? Can you put what's most important, and then can you plan your day the night before so that you're acting it out? A belief, Carl Jung says, a belief is to act it out. You want to act as if what is most important is truly most important. I have found so much through time blocking and through force function and 80-20 that a lot of my focus blocks, I need to more or less not have certain apps open, like my team communication app, my email app, any kind of social media apps, etc. And what happens then is I can focus and I can get way more done in way less time. And that's really what you want for your focus blocks. Buffer blocks, these are also great to actually have on your calendar. And again, if you don't know what these things mean, no problem. Just watch the video training on time blocking, and that'll really help you get a sense of like how you want to use time in order to step into your next identity. Right? What's going to enable you to have the habits, that's going to give you the practices, that's going to build the positive stressors into your everyday so that you can take on bigger and better goals for yourself. All right, so startup focus blocks. It's a really good idea in Club Thrive with us for you to look at both some of the big chunks of work that we've talked about so far. So one is growth path, your personality tests, and discovering your next goal and purpose questions. These are in the workbook. There are all these ones right here: status quo, yearnings, regret, your adventure, find your purpose. If you haven't done these, and if you haven't done your strengths to leverage, these different personality quizzes, it's going to really help. It's going to really help by the time we get to strategy. I want you all thinking of like, what is winning next? Like, really, what are you in here for? And what are the bigger goals? This might seem somewhat repetitive, but it's process oriented. So the more you get to like dive in and get through it, you're going to find that you know a lot more about this next phase of your life. And you're able to start to time block for that. Also, healing space. Many of you identified that you're on a depth path and you need a healing space and you need healing time. Some of you are going to really work on space element and Marie Kondo your stuff. That's this worksheet right here. This is around shaping your space. And again, you're going to shape your space according to what? According to your superhero identity, according to who it is that you want to become next. And you're going to architect your environment or shape your space according to your future identity. This is something that we find a massive accelerator, and it can take a lot of time. I mean, the first time I did the Marie Kondo method, the first time I went through literally all of our stuff, and this was years ago, and we had bought this property that actually came with like lots of stuff on it, lots of junk on it, and we just didn't clean it out. Like, we moved in and we just started repairing the house, and we never cleared out all the stuff on the land. And by the time it came, Marie Kondo came into my life, and I started to just eliminate anything that wasn't at the vibratory level of who I wanted to become next. It had to go, and it was just like trip to the transfer station, trip to the thrift store, after trip to the thrift store, trip to the dump. I mean, just getting rid of all this stuff and just paring down into, again, this deeper materialism of like, what do I really need? What do I really want? What's really going to reflect a higher vibration? Now, that is a serious chunk of time. And for many people who've gone through this with me in the past, all my Master of You members really focused on this. And there is a chapter in Master of You called Space where I walk you through this step by step. It's an ass kicker, especially if you're not a minimalist and you haven't done this yet. It can be a serious chunk of time. When I did it for the first time, it took me 6 weeks. It really did. I didn't stop working, right? I didn't stop exercising. I didn't stop cooking food for my family. My daughter at the time, I'm not sure how old she was, maybe 7. And it was like every spare free moment, for like 6 weeks. Like, I'd wake up and I swear it was like my walking meditation, just sorting stuff into like that which gets to live with us in the future and that which gets to go. My husband caught on. He had a 1,700 square foot shop. He did the same thing. We both dissolved certain income streams from our business that opened up our focus to generate higher value income streams. It definitely was a life-changing process, but it did take a chunk of time. All right, let's talk about some ongoing blocks of how your time will be spent in Club Thrive to align to future you. So daily self-care, getting return on investment on your time, on your focus, and architecting your environment. This is so important. What we really want you to do with your self-care is, like, it doesn't have to be an extraordinary amount of time. I actually had this woman, she's on advisory for Club Thrive. She's on our advisory board, and she was telling me after working with me in the primal habits and the circadian rhythm habits that she realized that in her wildly successful corporate career, which had some detrimental impacts on her body, she's like, after learning all this, it really was about a 20-25 minute self-care routine every morning. If I had done that in my high-powered corporate career, that's all it really would have taken for me to thrive. So return on investment, it doesn't have to be a huge chunk of time at all for daily self-care, but it's important that it's the right actions, again, that you 80-20, that you get the 20% of actions that drive 80% of the results, that you focus on that, and that you architect your environment. That's largely space element, that you architect your environment. Perhaps you're architecting it for a healing space, for depth path work. Perhaps you're architecting it to reinforce your next purpose. All right, weekly focus blocks to do the Club Thrive work. It's going to greatly help. Again, the work in Club Thrive is largely around your larger goal and your strategy. And it's a bit around just taking the course, but also being live on the calls. The more you're live on the calls, what will happen is the primal habits, the circadian rhythm habits, and that core around healing, that'll start to naturally and spontaneously happen. It doesn't take a lot of time. The habits don't take a lot of time at all. They will save you time. They will save you money. But the learning period of it is what you want to start to just chunk off in your schedule, like I said, up here in scheduling for the live sessions. What will also happen is, as you're watching some certain sessions in Club Thrive, is you'll realize that, like, oh my gosh, I've got to have a focus block just to integrate, like that example on the personality test. That's a really good example of what you're going to want to focus block. Take a bunch of personality tests, see if you can notice your patterns, up-level them to Google Drive, and start to identify your strengths to leverage for the next evolution of your goals. All right, another block that we do is annual. Those of you who are in Club Hero, you know that we're having these trimester 2-day workshops to help you block time. For those of you who aren't in Club Hero, we'll go through a bit of how we do this in the strategy lesson. It's a way of resetting yourself for what's coming up next so that you actually build a good plan in real time. All right, as part of the time blocking, you're also going to have there's a chunk in here on creating your ideal calendar. So what your ideal calendar is it's really like how you want your experience to be in real time. And ideal does not mean realistic. It really often isn't. And this, again, is part of the depth path work. So what you'll do when you do the video training on time blocking is you'll actually go through and block out. You'll create a calendar in your Google Calendar. Those of you who don't have a Google Calendar, it's a really good reason to have a Google Calendar. And you'll create an ideal calendar. And an ideal calendar is where you block your time based on ideally how you want your day to be. So this is for me right now. Mondays, team day. Tuesday and Wednesdays are deep work. Thursdays are focus work with meetings. And Fridays are either focus days or free days. So I do a lot of deep work. I do a lot of focus work. I don't do a lot of buffer activities. And this is my ideal calendar, meaning I might not do this perfectly right now, but this is what I'm aiming to do. And actually, this will change right now. This is December 2022. As soon as we hit January 2022, Friday will become a free day. Yes. All right. I know that's not what everybody wants, but it's what I want right now in my phase. All right. Time tracking. This is a big thing that we use. We use timers. So I'm going to show you a timer. I use an app called Howler Timer. I'll show you what that looks like. It's just one of these little guys. And I set this for time blocking projects. So say I have a number of emails to write, say I have a slideshow to produce. These are things that I regularly do. I know roughly about how long it'll take me to do that. And what I do is I set a timer. Usually I set a timer for just like a little bit less than how long it normally takes. So I'm kind of pushing myself into focus. What that does by putting a little bit of a crunch on is it takes away any distraction. I'm less likely to jump into email or jump into project management or jump into chatting with my team or jump into, internet shopping, right? Whatever the thing is. So you'll notice that in our live sessions, especially in our dynamic club sessions, we use timers. We're trying to train you to use timers. We're trying to train you to use timers for your focus blocks and also for your buffer activities. And what this does is it actually will free up more free time. It'll free up more play, more experience for having the kind of experience you want to be having in your life. More time for watching the clouds go by, for resetting, recalibrating your nervous system. There's a concept called calendar integrity. And what calendar integrity can do is it can help you get in touch with doing the things that you put onto your calendar. So if I have deep work on my calendar on Tuesday and Wednesday, right now this week this is going into course building. So for calendar integrity, what we want you to do is time block your focus time. And then you'll hear us use this term calendar integrity on our coaching calls. And what it means is like what you schedule, you actually do. Again, planning your day the night before and mentally rehearsing what it is that you're doing the next day will help so much when it comes to calendar integrity, when it comes into having integrity with what it is that you say you're going to do by marking that on your calendar, by being more organized, by blocking your time. Okay, there's two little quick things that I want to show you here. One's the energy matrix, and one's the what I no longer want to do. The what I no longer want to do, this is going to show up right here in our workbook. I'm sorry. The energy matrix is going to show up. The energy matrix is going to show up here in our workbook. This is something to print and to have, you can have it during periods of frustration, or you can just put it on your desk for a week and you just fill out. So according to what you're doing, helping you see what should be prioritized in your life based on what you like and what you don't like, based on what you should then outsource. And that's going to go on another list, which I made this Club Thrive goal tracker for you guys. And it's got on the bottom, it's got all these different tabs. And one of these tabs is what I no longer want to do. So what I no longer want to do, you might list the activity and the number of hours a month. And what this does is this gets you ready to start to outsource or to start to give away some things. For some of you, it means it's things that you just need to delete from your life. It's sometimes things that you need to negotiate with another family member of like, these are things that they've got to go because I need to step into that. Or there's something to hire for. So I often use this in hiring, things I no longer want to do. For example, once upon a time, when I was podcasting, I edited my own podcast. I wrote the show notes for my own podcast. I sent emails about the podcast. I created the thumbnails or the images that went with the podcast. I mean, I did all the things related to having a podcast. But what I found is like, I didn't really want to do those things. Really, all I wanted to do was have the conversation. I didn't even want to schedule guests with the podcast. So what it helped me realize is that I needed someone who could do all those other things. And then I did some research. On like how much the hourly rate for those skills were, what the skills were required. I tracked my own time and saw like how many hours that would free up a month. And just these questions, they help you start to see, certain things that like you could give away. I've had so many people do so many things for me over time to help me stay right in my zone of genius, right in the zone where I find I'm doing the highest value activities that I really enjoy the most. So again, between the energy matrix of figuring out like really what you like, what you love, what you dislike, and what you hate, we want you to be aware of this because this is really pointing, again, to some of the bigger goals that you'll have in your life so that you get to enjoy. This is your life. This is the life that you want to live in real time. All right, so again, some of the, if you don't know much about time blocking, please watch. This is it's like a 20-minute video on time blocking and an ideal calendar. And then in the Club Thrive workbook, there's also a little worksheet here on ideal calendar that can help you to start to see how you want to use time in the futures. You might notice, like, even if you're using time effectively, are you using a project management tool to manage your projects? That's helpful to know how to use that, and we'll get more into that in future lessons with strategy. What times of day do you find yourself being the most productive and focused to move projects forward? These are called focus blocks. What time of day is best for you to network or collaborate or work with other people or do like the little piddly stuff? That's buffer blocks. So for me, often like buffer blocks will happen in between focus blocks. So if I have a focus block, then I'll often just take like a half hour and do buffer block activities of then I'll check my email and I'll check my Slack and I'll do all the little things. All right, and then this is just a reminder to do this whole section of ideal calendar and how to do it. So in your calendar app, I use GCal. You create a new calendar. So to do that, you go to calendar, you open it in settings, you create a new calendar. You can name it ideal or innovative calendar. You can add your free days, your focus days, and your buffer days. Some people have entire buffer days. I do, like Mondays is just like all team, all getting projects ready to work on for the rest of the week, and that works great. And then adjusting, you slowly then start to adjust your calendar to your ideal. We've had members do this in like 2 weeks. When they created their ideal calendar, like 2 weeks later, they're living it. Some of you might think that's totally impossible, but you never know. Once you actually know exactly what your ideal calendar is, you can start to make choices, have conversations in alignment with making that real in real time. So those are some of the resources to use in order to get in sync with your time. These are all skills that will continue to iterate, continue to repeat so that they become automated. And the more this gets automated, I tell you, like when I started doing this stuff years ago, before I wrote Master of You, when I started coaching maybe 10 years ago and learning this stuff, doing this stuff, teaching this stuff, it was like, I hated my calendar. I was teaching yoga classes. I would leave my house at 6:45 on a dark night in winter to go teach yoga class. Or Saturday mornings, I had to teach at the studio, and it was like, I never had a Saturday morning free where I could just be at home and do the piddle paddle stuff on Saturday mornings at home. And I did this, and I started doing the time blocking, and I started realizing what was my ideal calendar, and I started making choices according